Welcome to section 1.5. This is going to be the first of two sections on data visualizations. And in this section, we're going to focus on graphs and charts. This section is going to have many videos. So I wanted to give you an overview before we dived in. The next two videos are going to focus on first graphing values of categorical variables, usually, always frequencies. And second, we're going to have a video on graphing quantitative variables. There are differences between the two. Following that, we will have a video with some help, which will summarize what we learned from those two videos, as well as provide a couple of important tips to make sure your graphs are useful. Next, we will talk about how to fine-tune graphs in Excel, and by that I specifically mean going in and adding things like graph labels, labels to your axes, and things like that. We will then turn to a way to make adjustments to the vertical axis in your graphs, changing it from what is normally a linear scale to something called a log scale. We're only going to look at vertical axes, and we'll talk about what that means and see what the impact is. We're going to look at an example of a more complex graph that has two different vertical axes and how to read it. And finally, we'll conclude with some ethical considerations. In the next video, we'll look at two examples of making graphs with categorical variables.